For my fifth bookbind, I am going to rebind A Man Called Ove by Fredrik Backman. This is one of my favorite all-time books, so I'm so excited to give this edition new life. This one I purchased from Goodwill for like $3, and it's in pretty decent condition, so nothing to worry about there. But I am going to turn this paperback into a hardcover. My inspiration is really these Easton Press editions. Although I'm not going to copy the design exactly, this is the aesthetic I'm going for. So I did purchase a new blue faux leather that I want to try and use for this bookbind. This is what I purchased from Amazon, and unlike the last few bookbinds that I've done, it is not a self-adhesive faux leather. So I'm hoping this will be a little bit easier to work with. So I'm going to try this material and see if it's what I want to use going forward for all my bookbinds, because there's a few colors that I like. And I like these kind of squiggles. I don't know an official term to call it. So I'm going to do something like this on the design. But I want the title on the cover. I don't like how Easton Press books don't have the title. They only have it on the spine. And for this edition, since this is a thinner paperback, I'm also going to do the title horizontal like this, rather than have it like this way on the Easton Press, because the font wouldn't be too big. So I'm going to have it go that way. And I don't think I'm going to do the hubbed spines because I just don't have enough room. The thing that I want to focus on for this edition is I am having troubles with one element, and it's having this like divot, I don't know what to call it, show up. It's much too like flat. So I need the material to like sink in there a little bit into that crease. So that's something that I want to focus on for this rebind. And I think it has a lot to do with the measurements of the chipboard that I am selecting. I need enough overhang on the side and without it being too much, if that makes sense. So I'm going to be focusing on that, and I have a really cool design. Of course, I'll do a ribbon bookmark. I don't know if I'm going to spray the edges of it because I don't want to do a metallic gold. I think that'll take a lot more research to find a gold spray paint that works well for this. So I don't know if and all I have right now is black, and I don't think that would look good against the dark blue. So I'm not planning on doing a sprayed pages for this, but we'll see when I get into it. I was originally playing with the idea of having some element of a cat on the cover, but then I got to thinking again about my original inspiration, and it's not as cartoonish, right? It's a little bit more sophisticated, I suppose. So with that in mind, here is my final design. Here is my rough design, and I say rough design because the measurements here are based on this paperback book, and I need to be sure that it's the right measurements for the chipboard after I cut it. So I need to remember to do that. But this is what I'm thinking, and I'm so excited about it. I think it really fits the design aesthetic that I'm going for with the books. And it took me a little while to do it because this design here, this was like a corner. And so I matched it up with the other corner to make it look like a top and bottom border. And then I also just cropped out this corner design to give these details here. So really excited that I'm learning more about how to create these designs, although I'm still struggling with finding something that goes all the way around because the rectangles that I downloaded don't fit like book cover dimensions. I don't know if these ones will turn out. I think that might be too small for design, but I'm going to give it a shot and see how it goes. And then if you've watched my other bookbind videos, you know that I constantly struggle with the font to pick, but I'm hoping that these are large enough that I won't have a problem with the fact that they are like a print rather than cursive. And this, I mean, gosh, I really don't know. But as I learned last time from the rebind I did of Addie LaRue, I need to spell check this multiple times because I had a couple typos on my last bookbind. So I'm going to be paranoid about that going forward. But luckily, Ove is just 3 letters. So I'm optimistic, but I will be checking that dozens of times before I actually print this. I originally used this 3/8 inch spacer for the hinges here, but I think it's too big. It doesn't look right. So I'm gonna redo it, and I'm gonna try 1/4 inch and see how that looks when I put it on the text block. I think the 1/4 inch spacer is going to work a lot better for this. I have a little bit of cover overhang here, and it will only get, I guess, more when I add the leather, so I think that looks okay. And it's pressed up against the spine, so I think roughly I'm getting an idea of what the book will look like. So now I just need to worry about getting the leather properly creased in there. Alright, so this is a little embarrassing. I recorded this whole segment of working on this, but my battery died, or I didn't actually hit the record button, so I didn't capture any of it, which is disappointing because I made an error and I'd love to rewatch it to see where it all went wrong. So at first, this looks great, right? I secured the leather to the chipboard, even though missed measurements a little bit. But here is the problem. So I decided to try leaving 1/2 inch of overhang, but then when I was securing it, I didn't center it properly, or I attempted to, but it didn't execute that way. So this is a little bit shortchanged, and it was a pain to glue. I had to glue it and then tape it with masking tape to make sure it would hold in place while it dried. So learning opportunity there, I guess. And it wasn't too much better than the self-adhesive leather, because once the leather touched the glued chipboard, I couldn't move it again. So that's disappointing. But I'm gonna go ahead and glue the end pages now. I'm not sure the hinge is looking the way that I want it to, so far at least. But the sizing is okay. I think there's a little bit too much overhang on the top and bottom, but the sides look okay. So I'm just gonna keep moving. I do kind of like this leather. It's very soft. So far so good with this new material, even though securing it, I need to try that again. I think what happened was I started gluing this first and it like shifted. I think I need to start gluing the center first, but whatever. It'll still work, and it will still look fabulous. Here is the final product of A Man Called Ove by Fredrik Backman, which is the 5th Jack and the Book Stack rebinding attempt. I completely forgot that I cut this ribbon bookmark long, and I plan to trim it before attaching the charm, so it's longer than I would like, but you know, whatever. It is okay. I think I'm still learning with the vinyl, and since this is a new material, I didn't wait long enough for it to cool, so it wasn't perfect, but it's really, really hard to tell. I think if you're looking at it, you may not notice some of the little things that I see, so I'm pretty happy with that. Then when it comes to the inside, this is how the end pages turned out. Not too bad on the front cover, but when you get to the back, you can really see how I shortchanged the leather there because it didn't quite make it. But that's the back, so, you know, little things. Overall, I am happy with the new faux leather material that I tried for this bind, although I didn't quite get the hinge look that I'm going for, right where the cover meets the spine. I'll keep working on it. I think it has something to do with the measurements that I'm using for the book, so I'll keep messing with that. But overall, I'm happy with it, and I can definitely keep going with this material and try it on some other book binds. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in this bookbind of A Man Called Ove, and I will see you in the next bookbind video where I am learning the hard way how to make my own hardcover custom books.